Hello everyone, how's it going? This is Ken, the Positive African. Today I have a surprise for you. I have somebody I want to introduce to you. It's my friend, Raynah!
Hi! That was just, were we kidding?
No, that was this.
Oh,
That's
snap.
how we're starting our video.
Really?
Yes.
Dang,
yes.
okay.
So set yourself up,
All right.
Also you guys in there, set yourself up because this will go and we're going to have a great conversation right now.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about Raynah.
Yes.
Raynah, who are you?
I go by the name of Raynah. I know Ken and I love Ken. We are friends. We've gone way back. Because when I came back from Kenya with the dust of Nairobi,
fresh off the boat,
he was one of the Kenyans that extended themselves to just come and meet me. And I really appreciate that, by the way. Have I told you that?
Thank you.
Yeah, that meant a lot.
Karibu.
Yes.
That sounded so Muzungu-like.
Yes. Wewe si Muzungu.
Anyways, so today, me and Raynah are going to talk about something that's very special. She is on an amazing journey that I think that this journey never ends, right?
No, it doesn't.
And I've gone through my own version of this journey. I've shared a little bit with you guys. But explain that journey to everyone that's watching right now, because I might not explain it as well, and I don't want to hit it wrong. So how would you explain your journey right now?
So for Ken's subscribers, I have a YouTube channel. It's called Rebuilt, and I'm pretty sure you're going to put the link somewhere.
I am going to add a link in there.
I have a relationship with God, right? So when Ken is talking about the journey, I went through a whole lot of mess, right? I got broken. I was empty. I got into alcohol. I was into drugs. And it got to a point where I got so broken that I had to realize, or I had to ask myself, is this what life has to offer? So that's when I started my journey. I started asking myself, what is this? If I was to die today, like, what am I gonna say I did on this earth? Like, do I have a purpose? What is this purpose? And that's when I started getting closer to Jesus, because Kenyans, we're all raised in church, right? So that's the only thing I went back to. I went back to church, but I wanted it to be different. I didn't want to go back into religion. I was looking for a relationship, and that's something that's continuously evolving.
The number one question I really have for you: what is religion and what is a relationship? Can you explain that to somebody, maybe a 13-year-old who is going to church? I wish I had this, because I know what you mean, but maybe a 13-year-old who goes to church every Sunday but doesn't really understand the difference between religion and relationship. Can you explain that better?
Yeah, because for the longest time I used to get those two mixed up. I used to be the Sunday Christian. I'll go do my mess outside, and then every Sunday I'll go to church, and I would think I have a relationship, and that was the complete opposite. Religion is more like a routine. You're doing something. You're going to church because it's out of routine. You do it because you don't know any better, right? So when what I realized is, that's not what I want. I don't want to go to church. I'm not getting...
How'd you realize that?
I started asking questions. I'm so inquisitive. I ask questions. Okay, so the preacher talked about this. I'm like, I need to answer these questions. I need answers to these questions.
What are some of these questions? I'm picturing like a 13-year-old girl watching this.
Yeah.
And I want her to know, like, did she have the same questions that you do?
Yeah. I mean, I had the hardest questions. I was like, if there's really a God, then why do good people die?
Okay.
If there's really a God, why do babies die, or they might get aborted, or they are mistreated or abused? Like, if there's a God, why is this happening?
Okay.
And nobody could answer that question for me. And I was like, okay, so what is it all about? So I had to go look for the answers, and that's when I started getting to the Bible, right? I started looking for material, and I can't explain it, but there's certain things we call the Holy Spirit reveals to you when you start looking into the Bible.
Okay.
When you start reading your word, that's when you're starting to establish a relationship and not a religion anymore.
Okay.
So it's not about religion, it's about your relationship. Think of God as your friend, right? If I'm your friend, if we're like really, really close friends, do I want to hang out with you only on Sundays, or just 2 hours in a week?
Okay.
No, he's your friend. I have good friends. I talk to them all the time. If you're in a relationship, maybe with a woman, or I'm in a relationship with a man, I talk to that person constantly. So why is it that we treat God as that one thing that we need to do, religion, routine, as opposed to wanting him to be a part of everything in your life. Okay. So I started asking those questions and nobody could answer me, and I started reading the word. I started asking myself, who is God? You know, and the word comes out, it comes alive when you start reading it. If you seek him, you're going to find him.
Now when you're speaking to somebody now, like I'm a person, I drink.
Yeah.
I do go out.
Yep.
I love to dance.
Yeah.
We both like to dance.
We
actually,
do.
By the way. That's saying, you know, I do have a relationship with God.
Yeah.
And necessarily, it doesn't look like yours.
Yeah.
But I do have a relationship with God.
Right.
We want to make sure they understand that, you know, for you, what you were doing was damaging.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this in my channel where I was doing things that were damaging me. I used to drink to damage myself, to numb the pain that I was going through. So I understand when you say that.
Yeah.
But now I drink for a different reason.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so for people who are watching this, we don't want you to think that there's a certain... I don't think her message is, hey, if you do a certain thing a certain way, that's no. For her, it was damaging who she truly was. Yep. And it wasn't really empowering your true sense of you, right?
Right. And something else is the church has this negative connotation that and it's happened because people judge, you know. A lot of church folk judge other people that are outside of church. But that's not what I found. The word I found in the Bible is to love, you know. God is love, and you can't that's not your place. It's not your place to judge somebody if they're doing something that you don't believe in. So I have a lot of friends that drink. A lot of friends. We are still friends. I don't judge their salvation. The Bible talks about you have to work out your salvation. So how I'm walking mine, I'm accountable to how I walk my salvation out. Okay. How you walk yours, you have to work out your salvation. And just like you said, alcohol for me, I was doing it for the same reason, numbing the pain. So what I was losing myself. And because I don't want to think like this, I don't want to think about all these things are happening.
Pretty much the questions, right?
Yeah.
Questions, you didn't want to really think about those questions, right?
Yeah, so I'm a drink, and then I'm gonna not think about that for a second, you know?
And you indulge yourself in other things because, it numbs you. It's
and
a
the
great
drugs,
numbing.
Yeah. So, no, I don't think the church is out there to judge, and I feel like everybody has...
See, I think what you mean is the church shouldn't be out there to judge.
No.
Yeah.
It should not be out there to judge. I understand that we do come off as judgy, but not everybody, you know?
That's
not
true.
Everybody in church.
That's true. And what's beautiful is we're both from Kenya. We're both born and raised in Kenya, right? See, I got mine. It's like we're proud, right?
Yeah.
So, but Christianity in Kenya is a whole nother world.
Yeah.
And it's so damaging.
Is it?
In Kenya, the way I was raised as a Christian, it's a joke. Like what it did to me as a person.
Yeah.
I grew up fearing so many things because of Christianity, because I wasn't taught, and I'm not bashing Christians in Kenya. What I'm just pointing out is something what I was taught when I was in Kenya. Now this has to be one teacher who was doing his best to teach me, so I'm not bashing on him. What I'm saying is, what I was taught was the fear of Satan, not the love or building a relationship like you're talking about with God.
Yeah, hell hath no fury.
Oh my God, that was so pressed on me. I wouldn't do things because I was scared of what the devil was going to do to me.
Yeah.
I never cared about giving that respect, that love to God.
Yeah.
Right?
Because, you were scared.
So, and I don't know if it's like that still at home. I haven't been at home in a while, guys. But that's how I grew up. And I believe a lot of people my age, a little bit older, have had that teaching.
Right.
And it's very damaging.
It is.
It's very damaging. And it's because you grow up in fear.
Yeah. And that's so valid because we were taught Christianity or the whole relationship with God as you're gonna burn in hell if you don't do this.
If you don't do this.
So you're more inclined to the fear. You're like, oh, I don't want to do that because. So that it's like looking at the bottle half empty, half full, right? What I'm talking about is, yes, I don't know what's gonna happen when we die. I really don't care, because right now I'm right here on this earth. But what if I can have a relationship with God, with someone who loves me so much? Like, when you understand God's love, he gave out his son for us, for those who read the Bible. But if you want to look at it like it's all about hell, or you're gonna look at it as, if I build or establish a relationship with this person, or with this supreme being, I can be whole by myself. It's not about what's gonna happen wherever we go. It's about how can I make myself better on this earth. And for me, and I know a lot of people do yoga and they do stuff that makes them be at zen or be at peace or be whole. For me, that was Jesus, because he showed me a love that I've never found before. Like, when I tell you, there's some times I was so broken, it took I wouldn't listen to anybody. I would go and drink and smoke just to numb that pain, but I would always have this overwhelming feeling that there's somebody who is just rooting for me, and he's a gentleman. He's not gonna come and force his way into your life. Heck no. He's gonna knock, and once you decide to open that door to him, he's gonna come in. And when he comes in, he's gonna show you a life that you've never seen. Like, that urge that I had to go drink, I don't have it anymore. Like, I'm always at church. Most of my friends be telling me I'm going to church too much, because for me, I found something that I can't live without, and that's Jesus. I can't make decisions without him. I can't do life without Jesus.
Like, you generally in a relationship with God.
With God,
right?
Yeah, and it's not the perversive relationship. You know how, like, a lot of single church women be talking about Jesus is bae? No, it's not about that. It's just I found my identity. I found my identity in God. I found my identity in Jesus. So if he tells me I'm whole with him, then nobody else can tell me nothing. So that builds my self-confidence. I don't need to numb the pain no more, because he took it when he went on the cross. So it's a relationship. Just like like how we're friends. We need to be communicating more.
Yeah.
And life happens or whatever, but just as he's your a best friend, if you can think about Jesus as a best friend, somebody that you talk to every single time, everything else works itself out. Everything else works itself out.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And once again, I'm picturing a 13-year-old Kenyan girl in Kenya or in the States who just, his parents or her parents don't understand her or him. Let's say even a younger version of you in the 20s, in the early 20s, and is lost and doesn't know where to go. So I want to hear a little bit about where did everything like kind of hit, and you were like, okay, I've had enough of that life.
Yeah.
And there's a pull toward this life.
Yeah.
When did that pull happen? How did that pull happen? So did you force it? Like let me know. Create. I want to create that in my head. Well, actually, I want to create that head for somebody who's watching this, so they can be able to relate with you.
Yeah.
Because I think that's so important.
So when I had this paradigm shift, it happened when a friend of mine, I got a phone call from Kenya, and this was a friend of mine. I can't say we were really close, but we knew of each other, and she died. She died in the most bitter, the most graphic way you can imagine. She got into a car accident. That point in time, I started asking myself, like, this can't be it. Like, what is my purpose on this earth? And they talk about the grave, right? The grave is the richest place on the earth, because that's where dreams and purpose and visions and inventions that have never faced the earth have been buried. Because I didn't know what my purpose was. I was like, what am I supposed to do with my life? I go to work and then I go drink, or I go to work and then just shallow stuff. Like, I want to understand why I'm here. And that point in time, I said there has to be more. And I said, God, if you're real, just tell me or show me something. If you're there, if there's a 13-year-old confused and they're wondering, like, what exactly is this girl, me, talking about? I asked God, like, yo, there has to be more than this. the emptiness has to go. I have to feel full. And I was just reading, because I'm such an inquisitive mind. I was reading somewhere, and it said that everybody has a God-shaped hole in their heart. And that hole cannot be satisfied by anything. Can't be satisfied by sex, can't be satisfied by alcohol, it can't be satisfied by drugs, it can't be satisfied by women. There's one hole that can only be filled with God, and that's where people try to go and get that to be filled, that hole to be filled. For me, God filled it. And the satisfaction that I have, I'm not perfect, of course, like I fall down. It's not about actions, and that's something that a lot of people...
All perfection.
Right, it's not, it's not about what I do. What I need to understand is He died on the cross. I'm already forgiven. There's nothing I can do right now that can make God's love less for me. He already established that at the cross. So once you realize it's not about your works, because you realize it's not about your works, then you start having a relationship with God. Okay. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I'm gonna test this Jesus, this relationship type of stuff out. And He revealed so many things. The first thing He revealed to me is it's not about my actions. Because salvation is not, it's a process. It's not you get saved and then, you get saved and whatever, but it's a process. And I had to learn, I have to build a relationship. I have to, just like relationship experts talk about, communication. You have to communicate to God. You have to pray, and that's the only way I can channel, or I can speak to Him, by praying, by getting on my knees. And once I got that figured out, I started going to church. And I go to church and I have questions. And then I went to Bible college. I told you right now, right? Yeah. I went to Bible college, and it's something supernatural that happens that I would just suggest to some of your viewers. If they haven't tried it, just ask Him. Just ask. Communicate with them. Just communicate. And you don't have to be our Father, who He's your friend. Just like I'm talking to you, talk to Him. Because I was like, God, I need you to show up.
When I'm hearing you talk, it's very interesting, because I have a completely different mentality and a way of thinking when it comes to religion, Christianity, or building a relationship with God. Now, I still challenge myself to know, do I really believe in God, or is it because I was taught that my whole life? Right? So I still struggle with that aspect of it. But everything you're saying is aligned in what I believe in. But in a different shift. I believe in the law of attraction. I believe in communicating with a higher power. Right? And so I call Him God because that's all I know. That's what I was taught. That's what's engraved in my head. So, and it served me. But I do have a communication. So the first thing I do when I wake up is I have a routine. But this routine, actually let me speak about this, and because routines are not bad, but what she's talking about, imagine if you were married to somebody and everything was a routine. There's
no spark in it.
There's no excitement, there's no but routines are beautiful to certain extents for like work or certain things. But you get to experience life. You get to be in the present moment. So you can create a routine, but also live in the present moment. And I think that's beautiful in a relationship. So, side tangent. So I have a morning routine. That's what I was saying. I have a morning routine, and that routine involves, meditation, and then I go through a gratitude. But when I do the gratitude, it's not a routine anymore. It stops. I have 10 minutes set aside, but it's a routine where I deepen into my thought, and I just give pure gratitude for what's going on in my life, and I really feel like my whole energy shifts. Right. So I am communicating with God or a higher power or whatever you want to call it. I don't think it doesn't really matter what name you call it, right? Do you believe that?
Just like people have the Quran, just like Buddhists have their own God. For me, His name is Jesus, and it works for me, right? Would I love people to know Him? Heck yeah. Like, they call the gospel the good news. That's why I have a YouTube channel and I talk about this Jesus that I love. but I'm not here to judge. You know what I'm saying? Like,
gotcha.
what you believe in, that's fine. Am I showing love? Like, am I showing Jesus through my actions? Am I judging you? Am I like pushing you off because you don't believe what I believe? Heck no. I'm not here to do that. I can only work as Jesus worked. If you look at the Bible, right? If you think about the Bible and you look at Jesus's life, who was he hanging out the most with? He wasn't with the Pharisees. He was with the prostitute. He was with the woman that was sleeping with people's husbands. He was with tax collectors. These are like modern day ordinary people. So we're not here to judge, and we're not called to judge. That's why I told you, like, I have many of my friends who drink, and I have many of my friends who still do drugs and still do all that stuff. If we can be a light, if we can show them love, that's all we're called to do. The rest is going to work itself out.
Yeah.
But what I know I'm supposed to do, what my Bible tells me, is to show love in any situation. Any situation. I'm not here to judge.
That's funny because it's funny you say that, because I go to a church which it's a non-denomination. Whatever.
Non-denomination.
Whatever that. I think I'm talking about denomination in math class, but it doesn't have it's not religious. So this church is called Agape, and Agape, in my belief, is the highest form of love.
Yes.
And so as I said, we're very aligned in our thinking.
Yeah. And
I really like that. And I want everyone out there to think that this is how religion was supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
We don't call it the same name, but we understand that love is a genuine thing that we're supposed to be spreading across this world.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Right? So and I mean that's what I believe in, and I love that, because it's I've had I used to be Mr. Right, and I used to focus so hard on
what you do,
on being right on what I do, that I became so anti-religion, and I realized I wasn't spreading love.
Right.
And I was like, that's not. My friend actually makes fun of me. She goes, "Hey, you're Mr. Lover." So right, so like, cause
Mr. Lover,
right?
Okay.
So like, cause it's like I believe in genuinely just spreading love.
Yeah.
And that when it comes down to it, that's exactly what you were just talking about.
Yeah, it's all about love. Yeah.
Spreading love and giving love to the whole entire world.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's all I have of now. You have anything else you'd like to tell everyone out there?
No. For Ken's viewers, thank you for having me on your channel.
Oh, of course.
I appreciate it. But like you know, my channel's about faith, and if you have any questions, let Ken know. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna put my information on your description box.
I will put it because I want you guys to follow her. Subscribe to her channel, please. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. And follow her journey. It's pretty exciting. She even talks about dating and stuff, which is a great topic, by the way. I love talking about dating. She talks about
the struggle.
She was her trip to Kenya.
Yeah.
By the way, she's single. For any gentlemen there that are strongly founded in the faith of God. And
you just gonna put me out there.
I'm helping you out. This is way better than Tinder or Bumble or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, guys, she's a gorgeous woman, and she is.
Thank you,
I
Ken.
love where she's going with her life. I love where she's going. She's attacking her goals, and you are living in purpose.
Yeah,
I would love to end with that. She's living in purpose.
Yeah.
And it's not that you're talking about it, you're doing it, and that's why we are here today. Because you're living in your purpose, and I love that.
Yeah. I feel like if I wake up every day, and not even every day, but like when I finally close my eyes, like when I die, I feel like I'd still have this accomplishment, because I know I've made a footprint, I've made a mark. It might be for two people, it might be for just one person, but I know if I close my eyes today, and because the hope of the Christian faith is to go to be with Jesus in heaven, if I close my eyes today and I'm not here anymore, I know that I've lived in my purpose, and it's continually evolving. So that's what I have.
Good. Well, with that, guys, we are complete. Once again, please subscribe to my channel. I don't know how to put this stuff on there, but she's going to teach me today. She doesn't know about it yet. And please subscribe to her channel too. Please subscribe. We love you guys, and have a great day.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.